That's right. Francis is supposed to be here, and I guess he didn't get my link. All right, folks, we are here. We are starting. We are going. It is about to get busy, have fun, and a bunch of other things as all this craziness happens over here because it's live TV, folks, and things are always get crazy.
Whew.
Where the hell did my phone go?
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here.
It's always a pleasure, TJ. We go way back. Francis, we'll be right there with you. I just need to find my phone. You know what, TJ? While I'm doing what I'm going to do, why don't you start this off? Tell them all this stuff. Give them the spiel. As I put your Kickstarter up here. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, guys, super excited to be here. My name's TJ Serling. I'm the CEO and creative director of Malí Media, and we have a super cool book that comes out. I don't know. I'm hearing some static. I don't know what's going on. If that's
your audio is coming clear on my end. I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I don't know if anybody else. But yeah, I got a super cool campaign that I just came out with. It's my fifth IP that I just came out with, 100-page graphic novel on Kickstarter. And been the Apple TV fan and supporter, I think since like 2016. When I first started in 2015, I met these guys a year later at New York Comic Con. You've been super cool and supportive every year since. So yeah, super excited to be here and be back on the show. It's been a little while. So yeah.
All right. Well, so I'll take over for Ralph while he's figuring stuff out. So obviously,
I'm here.
no, Ralph, it's too late. You were gone for too long. I'm going to take some reins over. So obviously, we're doing a bit of a biographical piece here with this being about Mansa Musa.
I gotta say, Michael's been like really excited to talk to you because he saw who it was and he was like, "I gotta talk to you."
I'm going to be fully transparent. I have the broad brushstrokes of Mansa Musa. I do not have this is not my forte. I'm much more of a classical antiquities and Greece and Rome kind of guy, but I like to think myself the history guy of indie comics along with Paul here. So very excited to take a look at what you have going on. So I guess my big first question is, why choose Mansa Musa? What drew you to I think Forbes did a list of like the wealthiest people in history, and Mansa Musa is either second or third behind Augustus.
Actually, so yeah, well, thanks, man. Michael, you never had the pleasure of meeting you, so thanks for taking some time and looking at my stuff before. I'm excited to check out your stuff because I see you're a creator as well, so I'm in good company. But yeah, man, I was telling Raphael before that most of the books that I've created in the past have been centered around, sci-fi, fantasy, martial arts, anything cool that's not like things that could potentially happen in the real world. It's more fantastical stuff. So I wanted to do something that was more historical, that actually happened here on Earth at some point in time. And Mansa Musa was always a exciting, interesting figure to me because he is technically the richest man who ever lived, comparatively speaking. More richer than Bezos, more richer than the Tesla guy, Elon, and pretty much anybody else. He's had the most wealth in history, and he was one of those people that was so wealthy they put him on a world map in the 14th century because he was world renowned. And this is before social media. This is before texting. This is before you could Google something. So when word travels across the globe about
100%
wealth is pretty epic and pretty incredible. So, but it wasn't just about his money. I mean, he was a warrior. He was a continental ruler that expanded his rulership in his kingdom on the western part of Africa and made it the largest basically continental territory that rivaled the scale of Egypt at one point. So really interesting story with his whole what is it called? His whole kingdom was a sailing kingdom. So they actually sailed across the world many, many years before a lot of other sailors did. And they had actually discovered America, and that it wasn't technically a discovery. They visited there, and didn't, decide to put a flag down or a flag down and name it, but they had visited there before everybody else. So very, very interesting history. And because it was such a long time ago, there's bits and pieces of his story kind of like pulled through the lens of other different people that he came in contact with. Another big thing is that he would make travel pilgrimages to different places like Mecca, as an example, and he would give away gold as he would go on these travels and offset economies with how much he gave away. So just imagine you're a poor person, then all of a sudden you become a millionaire just because someone throws down a bunch of gold on the street. So really interesting figure who just raised a lot of curiosity for me. And as a creator, I saw his story had never been fully told. Now, my book and the one that's created here is not a full 100% historical accurate telling. It is his story, the history of it, but laced with a little bit of fantasy. We kind of injected some sword and sorcery energy in there. A big Game of Thrones fan, so I kind of wanted to put a little bit of that type of energy in there to make it entertaining and fun. And it is a 100-page graphic novel that we decided to actually do and fully publish before we came to Kickstarter. So we decided to finish the book, put our money where our mouth is, and make something that was cool, that was tangible. So when the campaign is done, all we have to do is print the book and then ship it out. So yeah, it's a little bit of history about what we're doing here with this book.
So that's really fascinating stuff. I had not heard the traveling to the Americas bit. Just out of curiosity, you've obviously done a ton of research. Where was that? Like, I thought. This is now the autistic historian in me is listening to everything that you're going. Is like, I hadn't heard that, so I'm trying to like source that out. You've very clearly done your research, so I'm not doubting anything you're saying. I just want to make sure that I'm tracking. But yeah, I was while you were talking, I was trying to bring up the list. So yeah, like it's really a flip of the coin, generally speaking. Most of these lists will have Mansa Musa as either number 1 or number 2, and it's between him and Augustus Caesar as wealthiest person in history, which, like, I mean, makes sense. Augustus literally controlled, I think, and the one thing I read, he controlled 25% of the world's entire economic output during like the height of his reign, and personally owned Egypt. So pretty extravagant. And then Mansa Musa, as you said, like he had his sailing empire, so they're really mercantile, but they were also in an area where there was tons of gold mines and everything like that in Africa.
Gold mines, diamonds. There was a ton of trade. Again, there was oil. There's kind of everything under the sun within that area.
Yeah.
Most of the world's diamonds still comes from that region to this day. So if you talk about rich resources, even in the 14th century, it's probably more plentiful than it was even to this day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the piece of history that's interesting, and so it was. Musa, like Mansa Musa, had a predecessor that was. A lot of people think it was his father. A lot of people think it was his uncle. There's no actual physical retelling of who exactly this person was in his relation to, but they knew that they were related. That it was King Abubakari who basically controlled 2,000 ships under his rule, and essentially put everyone on sailing voyages across the Mediterranean. I'm sorry, not the Mediterranean Sea, but across the Red Sea, and then in that entire area, basically pushed them out everywhere. And they had discovered everything from America to the southern part of America and the Columbia region. And again, because it was exploration, they were going out, finding what was going on, and then bringing back things that they've traded. And it wasn't anything where they were going to war over there. They were just, again, on an exploratory mission. So the guy who was actually running those voyages, King Abubakari, went on his own personal voyage and never returned at one point. And it was at that point that the reins of rulership passed on to Musa, where he continued those voyages, but focused more on aggressive expansion of the empire. So again, it sounds like a Game of Thrones story because it very much is something like that. It was just again very, very interesting lore, interesting stories. Again, Egypt in the 14th century was controlled by a different group of people. I mean, Egypt has historically been controlled by so many different types of people. At one point, the Greeks were in there. At one point, the Romans were in there. At one point, the Nubians were in there. At one point, the original people who built all that stuff were in there. So it was kind of like a metropolis that everybody wanted a piece of, that wanted to go there. It's like the Americas of that area, or if you will, or So
yeah,
ahead.
no, absolutely. And first off, not to interrupt, but your art on this campaign, sensational.
Thank you, man.
Like really good stuff. Raph, can you scroll up? There was I don't know if this was a wraparound cover or what, but there was this really badass picture of Musa kind of charging towards the foreground with a bunch of warriors at the back, and it's got this beautiful stylized thing. Is that a variant cover, dude, or is that like this?
Yeah,
This
right
thing
here.
is freaking sick. I would see this and immediately go, all right, I've got to check this out.
Yeah, that's Karen Grant. He's a Jamaican artist, but he's been a Marvel and DC veteran since like their mid 90s.
That's sick, dude. This is good stuff.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's actually one of my favorite covers. It's a wraparound front and back, Kickstarter exclusive, so it's a little pricier, but it is well worth it because we're only doing 50 copies of that for the campaign, and that's it. So, yeah, he blessed us with a cover, and it's my favorite. It's got that worm's eye view and shows him kind of leading this charge of battle. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, like this is sick. Like this is the kind of book that like I go all in for. And like you were talking about how Egypt was this kind of metropolis. They like, civilizations when they all started, they obviously you're looking at like early civilizations. It's all around, you look at the Fertile Crescent. Everything's around the Tigris and the Euphrates, and then obviously Egypt sets itself on the banks of the Nile, and you have the upper and lower kingdoms. You've got the new kingdoms and everything like that. And then, as you said, it becomes it becomes one of the prized possessions of Alexander's empire when he goes and he conquers Asia, at least as far as they understood.
Yes.
And then, by the time that you get to ancient Rome, Egypt has been ruled over by the Ptolemies, who are one of the successor empires of Alexander, and they control the grain supply for the Mediterranean. Like they're incredibly wealthy. Yep. And so, yeah, like it has always been kind of this jewel of Mediterranean North Africa that everyone's been kind of fighting for since the beginning.
A lot of people fail to realize that, again, the historians know this, but, Egypt had been empowered for thousands of years. I think there's some dynasties that lasted 4,000 years. Some lasted a few hundred. Even a dynasty that's been around for 300 or 400 years is long. I mean, even compared to, say, America, as an example, which is a relative infant compared to like some of the more ancient civilizations that have been around a long time. So, but the name of the game back then was conquering and expansion and moving of territory and moving of religion and all kinds of stuff. So very interesting, turbulent, crazy times to research and be interested in, and, spurs up all kinds of feelings for different types of people. But Musa was in part a piece of that history because of his wealth, and, lots of stuff happened within Malí afterwards. Because of his world-renowned fame of being, having the most wealth out of anyone. So we decided, again, really wanting to tell a story that highlighted those facts and that we could find and the deep dive that we did, but also creating some fantasy to it, giving just a touch, not full on Gandalf, Lord of the Rings magic, but just a touch of fantasy.
Well, that's the way that you can really grip people with a story like this, right? Is because
Entertainment.
Dan Carlin has an amazing podcast called Hardcore History, and in one of the episodes called Kings of Kings, where he's talking about the Achaemenid dynasty of Persia, he talks about the element in history called magic, where for you and I, well, we don't really think we know that magic's not really real, but this kind of supernatural element
Michael,
played a
speak for yourself.
massive role.
I know better than to say something like that.
Okay.
Well, just to kind of quickly talk about magic. I mean, people's interpretation of magic is very, specific to sometimes the region. I mean, I don't know if anyone here on the call has been or visited Chichen Itza in the Yucatan. I had an opportunity to go many, many years ago, and the entire complex is built around sound design. So if you clap just like this, you can hear it on the other end of the complex because the way everything's situated acoustically and how the actual structures are built. So in their opinion, that was a lot of magic. Now, but also
Absolutely.
There was a point where a lot of the shamans were doing hardcore heavy drugs, by smoking plants and all kinds of stuff to gain vision. And that was their forms of magic. So, tangible now.
100%. And that's not me. Like, what I'm saying is that kind of an element plays into the historical setting. Like, you mentioned the shamans taking the hallucinogenics. Obviously in ancient Greece, you have the Oracle of Delphi and Dodona, who would, either in Delphi, they think that it was like a kind of sulfur exhaust coming up from like a volcano that never really erupted or anything like that. That was beneath the site. I know that in Epirus, there's a chthonic temple to Hades and Persephone, where the priests would feed the person who paid for the experience this meal laced with drugs to induce a trance-like state, and then they would shove them into this underground maze. And it was said that people would go through this and be able to see the ghosts of their relatives and stuff like that. And like, that's the cool thing, is that magic, it does, as you said, it doesn't have to be like Gandalf or Harry Potter or anything like that. When it comes down to a historical setting, it's one of these really cool things where you are dealing with a people where they don't have the same understanding of things that you and I do. So like designing a building so that you can hear a clap from one end to another isn't engineering. That's witchcraft. That's magic. That's this. It's something spiritual. And I think that's awesome.
Well, it's like anything spiritual or anything magical. Like, these are not things that you can put down in front of you, dissect and see. So, I mean, I think for example, like magic today is like, let's say someone does a money spell for you, right? And they do a spell for you, say, here, this spell's going to give you a lot of money. Whether it works or not, like, it could give you the confidence to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do my resume. You know what? I'm going to go to a job, and I'm going to, so these are like, if someone does a love spell, maybe that'll give you the confidence to go up to someone. So, in that way, I think magic is real. In that way, if you believe in it or something, then, then it's real in that sense. If that makes any sense.
The power of the mind, to your point,
right?
You can will almost anything into existence. And we're talking about comic books. I mean, the comic creators are like the ultimate manifestors, because we come up with an idea, we think about something, we write it down, we either draw it ourselves or we have someone else draw it, and they have to basically take a vision that is intangible and make it tangible. Then we print it, and then figures and all these other stuff. So I like to call it the God gene, because again, you're creating something out of nothing, out of a sheer idea. So it's really powerful stuff. And that's why I love comic creation. It's one of my favorite mediums. It has been since I was a kid, in the 1988 when I went to my first comic book shop. So, but yeah, I mean, to your another point earlier, Michael, that witchcraft, people used to call chiropractors witchcraft, because they're like, oh, well, how does this make sense? But like, chiropractic's literally saved people's lives. I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, you can go from having migraine headaches every single day to being completely healed because of chiropractic care. So, and there's no
herbal healers, you know, the female healers were called witches, and I'm like, dude, why are you stopping your healers from healing?
because Wrath, that was pagan knowledge, and we don't accept it.
They don't think it's all it's cracked up to be.
There's no money in grass and dirt. The money is in the chemicals that the factory.
Oh man,
that's the whole thing. I think the thing about, you know, magic being a part of the culture, everyone's looking at it through the lens of today, and so they think these people are totally whacked out because we're understanding things that they never did, and so magic was real to them. And what's wrong with that? I mean, if you take that context and throw it into a story, you're coming from the focal point of the people who experienced it. Yeah. And that is very real to them. And it's as valid as someone who believes in nanobots. 100%. You know, I mean, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's what I think is like the fascinating thing. And I think that, you know, to that point, to get this back to the book, TJ is a smart idea to kind of incorporate that mysticism to it. Yeah. Because I think that one of the cool things about history is the further you go back, the less it's a tangible thing that can be like seen, right? Like you can go and find the battlefield of the invasion of Normandy, right? That was less than 100 years. That was, less than 100 years ago. All right. So we know where all of those guys came in. You're not going to be able to find the exact site of something like, you know, the Battle of Cannae in Roman history, or, you know, heck, you'd probably have a bit of a hard time finding the exact spot of the Zulu war, of like the big British conflict against Shaka Zulu where they got massacred. Like, the farther you go back, the more fantastical history becomes. And there's a book from Cyrus to Alexander that has this beautiful quote in it, is like, you know, even if ancient history isn't true, you have to believe it, because what else do you have? Like, the sources that we have are the sources that we have, and we've lost more about our past than we'll ever know.
But, you know, as we know, all that stuff is based on truth. It's not that it's not true. It's that the truth has been changed over time. Because mythology is all stuff that was true, and it's become epic ever since.
Yeah, I would say more or less. Like I absolutely believe there was a Trojan. Like, I grew up with stories of the Iliad and the Odyssey, and so like I absolutely believe Trojan War, 100%. Do I think that there was necessarily a guy named Achilles that went around and just slaughtered everybody and was the immortal demigod? Was it like a quasi-immortal demigod? Probably not. He's probably
but at the same time, you know, there was an Achilles who was human, kicked ass, and became mythical.
We don't even know if that's the case. He could be a combination of a few
possible, but that's the whole thing.
It's like the whole King Arthur debate, right? It's like, oh, was King Arthur real or was he not?
How do you prove it? And then
we're
always looking for pictures and you know story. That's why the word story is in history, because story was told orally, and
So that is
on paper.
That is actually a pet peeve of mine. That is not why story is in history. History comes from a Greek word that is historia. It means inquiries, because the original histories were, or at least if you go based off of Herodotus being the father of history, the idea of the histories is he was going around asking questions of the local peoples about what they remembered or what their stories were. But the Greek word historia means inquiry, which means asking questions. But that's one of those things that's just like one of my little pet peeves. I actually did a stream on this years ago.
You can say whatever you want, Michael, but it's his story.
It is. No, it is not. That's not how it works.
We're gonna
and
move
it
back
makes
to
me
the book
so
because I
annoyed.
want him to sell this book.
Yes, absolutely. And this
And,
book is fantastic. It looks
I
great.
love the conversation, but I want to make sure that we get the book out there and people go check this out because it looks fantastic. I love the fact that you're doing this whole jump in and see all the stuff together because I find that a lot of creators don't do this. They don't mix all their stuff in there, and you're like, dude, you got an open window. Why don't you do it?
Yeah, no, I totally get that, man. No, I appreciate the conversation, guys. This is super fun. I love talking about history. Art history was my favorite class next to
definitely
illustration.
I knew the show was going to be good.
So yeah, art history was always fascinating to me, and just so many different rabbit holes you can go down. But yeah, on the campaign, you have access to basically everything I've ever created in terms of just previous books and previous campaigns. Everything's currently in soft cover trade paperback form. I also have some t-shirts on there. You can get all the stuff digital if you're a digital collector.
Yep.
And it just gives people an opportunity to try everything I've ever made and get the new stuff as well.
Oh, this is a great way to do it, and I gotta say your prices are pretty low, and you got some interesting stuff. Here he goes. I saw these t-shirts. I was like, dang.
Yeah, that's one of the cover artists, Don Nomo, did some t-shirt art for us, and we're haven't even printed those yet, but we do have a supplier that prints directly. It's like basically on-demand printing, so you get a t-shirt, gets made and pressed in their shop, and gets sent directly to you through my account.
Whoa.
That's sick.
Yeah, so it's not like it comes in and people touch it in my house or something, and it goes to the printer fresh off the presses. So yeah, and I try to do some exclusive shirts for campaigns every time I do one because I just love collecting tees that are like bespoke and unique. So
oh, definitely, I'm a big t-shirt guy, and I like the way these things are made because one of my pet peeves is when you get the block of art. And it's just like a block of art on your shirt, and it's stiff, and it get hot. And this looks like it breathes and it moves, and I like how the art is part of the t-shirt.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely by design, and because the t-shirt transfer ones are a little simple, they're a little outdated, they don't look as cool.
No.
So yeah, man, everything is priced accordingly to where we're at in the economy. I think everything's priced modestly and trying to keep everybody's wallet in mind as I'm doing this stuff because I am a fan of comics first. So I do understand that it is a lot to pay sometimes for indie books, but I think a lot of people kind of forget sometimes that if you're going to a convention and you're meeting the creator, they're signing their book for you, and it's a $10 book or a $20 book or a $30 book, the entire experience is incorporated into the product that you're getting. If you buy a book from the shelf, you don't meet the creator, you might say hello to the local guy selling it to you at the shop, but then you're going to go home and read it, and then you're going to take it to a con at some point, and a creator's going to sign it for $30 or $40, sometimes more. So I do think that everything's priced accordingly, and whatnot. But yeah, I think you guys are going to really love this book. It's 100 pages. Again, we chose this time to finish the book, make sure it was complete before we did the Kickstarter campaign. So this kind of serves as more of a pre-order. And once we get the funds, we're going to print this book and get it shipped to you guys within 30 to 60 days, if not sooner than that. Just some small tweaks, a little bit of lettering updates that need to happen. Other than that, we're ready to go. And I'm super excited about seeing what you guys think about this book because it is a very, very different book for me, comparatively speaking.
And right there, that cover right there, look at that, $50, $50, just $50. That's not that bad.
I'll be hopping onto that. In fact, hold on, let me.
That looks amazing.
I think it's halfway sold out currently. There's only 23 or 24 of those left because it's a 50 limited. So, definitely get on it, guys. If you're seeing it, you're going to have that cover.
You're just playing the game now. Those collectors out there like, wait, he said limited.
Yeah, we because again, what I'm currently holding is just the standard cover, and this is still a beautiful cover, but that wraparound cover is pretty special. And again, as you guys can see, a little bit with the camera,
The colors are awesome.
Yeah.
So this is another image by Karen Grant right here.
Whoa.
Did an interior cover on that as well. So we've got 2 pieces from him on this book, and this is of White Aminata. A little bit about the characters of the book. So you have Musa, who's the main character, but you do have quite a few interesting cast of characters throughout the book that are playing some interesting roles. This is his brother Suleiman. Suleiman was eventually took over rulership from Mansa when Mansa died, but he was less of a warrior and more of a statesman, a tactician, and a again, very much like a noble guy that ruled through politics and ordinances and such. Again, we do have lots of interesting covers. There's Karen Grant this is White Aminata. She is a pirate. She's actually the pirate queen and the antagonist of this book, who is giving Musa some work, making sure that he is not, kind of keeping him in check, so to speak. And they do have a battle towards the end. Don't want to ruin the book for you guys, but
that was a great tease.
Yeah, just enough.
That was a great tease.
It's put together very well. Like I saw, like some pages that had a black on the background, and then there was white, and there was a whole page where the whole background was fire. It was put together like extremely well. It's visually pleasing. So.
Thank you, man.
This is fantastic, and you're one less of those covers.
Thank you, dude. You're awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
I was about to say, look at that, folks. 8,998, almost to 9,000.
Let me do the $2 real quick. So the cool thing about this is that, when we were thinking about the idea of this character, because he's a larger than life kind of mythical real life person that lived, we wanted to get as many people on board art team wise as we could. So we split the book into 4 chapters, and we have 4 different artists that are kind of, blessing us with some really cool art. So you do see the style change in terms of chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. But the story is the same, but it doesn't actually miss a beat, which is really, really cool. So you do get some different artistic styles for each chapter, as if it was a single issue comic series put together in a graphic novel volume. So I do think you guys are going to love this book. It's going to really resonate with you. You're going to have a lot of fun. There's no preachy, weird energy in there. It's just an interesting adventure story that we are trying to tell here. And I think this is one of those things I feel very, very confident that we're going to be able to get this book in your hands.
And I'm going to throw some more stuff on top of that, because we've known you for a long time. And this guy puts out some fantastic books, folks. So you're getting a great book when you get this. And his series of books are just amazing and beautiful. So you guys definitely need to pick this up.
Yeah, I'm besides a comic creator, I consider myself a comic book fan first. I collected for the better part of my life. Again, I've got a collection with tons of long boxes that stretch all the way back to the late 80s. And, I just came to cons many, many years, just buying stuff, purchasing things, interacting with artists. And, I always dreamed about being a comic creator. And eventually when I got, moderately good enough to make comics, I started doing it in 2015, and, 2025 this year marks our 10-year anniversary making comics. And just tough work, man. It's so tough to come out with books consistently as an indie. Books can cost you anywhere, even if you're drawing it, it can cost you, 10 to 20, 30K, depending on who you're paying and who you're working with.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it really is a labor of love, and wouldn't trade it for anything in the world for sure. But it is one of those things like, man, if I didn't love it, it'd be really hard to do it. But again, I love it because I'm a fan first, and I'm serving other fans of the medium.
I love what you do. We've known you. Like, it's funny you say 10 years, because Apple's been around for 10 years, and we've met you like early on. Like I think either your first or second year in, and I think it was at ChemFest. The first time we saw you. Yeah, the first time we saw you was at ChemFest, and that was a while ago, folks.
Jersey. Yeah, man. I've not done ChemFest in a while because I did move to the West Coast 3 years ago. But to me, grassroots local conventions are probably my favorite. I still do the bigger cons like New York and San Diego Comic Con and a few other big shows like C2E2 in Chicago, and those are really great shows too. But there's something fun about a local show where I get to just connect with people who live in that area and that are building something and who want to engage with creators and learn stuff. So yeah, I probably do local shows forever, to be honest.
Yeah, but you found your audience in those local shows because I've seen you work the local shows, because Chemfest is a local show, and I've seen you work them, and it's been amazing to watch you and to see the people react to you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, it is. Again, I don't, when I come into a con, I want, it's a weird balance because I think when I first started the business, I didn't care about making money as much, which is kind of weird because it's like, if you're a businessman, you have to recoup your investment and make table back. And I just feel like if you're always thinking about making your table money back and making money, you're not going to enjoy it.
Right.
You start enjoying yourself, you'll actually make more money because, you're just having a good time and, people are coming to you to get away from, the seriousness of life. They're at a con, they're dressing up. It's like Halloween, but like all weekend, So, my thing is like, hey, have a good time, enjoy yourself, and just, just really be in the moment. And that's why I love cons so much, man. I really, really do.
And dude, the energy that you have at these cons, because we've seen you at New York Comic Con, and you are like making people come to you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The scary part about where we're at in the world is we are oversaturated with data.
Yeah.
It's on your phone, it's on the TV. I mean, you used to be able to go to Amazon or Netflix and not see an ad, but even ads and content have like infiltrated these platforms that were once just solely for the thing, and that was just watching movies or renting a show or whatever it was.
But you're not kidding though, because I saw an ad in an ad.
It's an ad within an ad, and like when you're at cons, you have to do anything you can to stand out and get people's attention. And I always feel like, hey, closed mouths don't get fed. If you're not going to say, hey, this is me, this is my book, please take a look, and be friendly about it, no one will. People just keep walking because they're being distracted by the giant Pokemon, in the room over that's 10 feet tall or whatever.
This is true.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just and I love the fact that you do what you do, and because we tell creators all the time, you can't just stand there, you can't just sit there, you can't just like and I know it's hard, believe me, I know it's hard. We do what we do, and it's hard, but you have to like engage the people.
Yeah,
and I would say, like, if you can't, team up with somebody who can. Get somebody. Some people can't. Some people like they can draw or they can write, but they can't. And it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. We'll find somebody who can. Like there's plenty of cosplayers that will love to stand by your table as your character.
That's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I was gonna say too. One of the strategies I used, to your point, when I first started, 10 years ago, was I hired like a local model off of Craigslist who did trade shows, because a lot of times they'll get quote unquote booth babes or models to work a table at like an auto show, or they'll be working at like a home show or maybe even a timeshare convention, and they're always selling stuff and chatting with people. So I'm like, hey, you hire them for the weekend, they're always on Craigslist, or they're on some type of platform looking for additional work. And that helped me a lot, because then I could just be the artist and talk to people when they came to the table, but they'd help me get people to the table. And then sometimes the women were a little too hot, so then the guys just wanted to talk to them the whole time. And I'm like, over here, man.
I had more traffic come to my booth. My wife dressed up as Amelia than I came, just as me.
That's true.
You just get, an added body in there that looks really great. I mean, people are going to come to your booth. It's awesome. I mean, it's all about attracting interest. It's really all it's about. So.
My wife doesn't want to come to Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's funny. I met my girlfriend at a Comic-Con in San Diego, and because her mom's an artist and makes comics like I do, it can be a lot for her. So she comes to as many conventions with me as she can without, her head exploding from all the craziness, Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. That's why a lot of people, I always tell them, don't make New York Comic Con your first con.
Yeah.
Ease into
I made that mistake. New York Comic Con was my first one.
Dude, that is so. I go every year and it's still overwhelming for me.
Yeah, it is. Big shows they're just insanely difficult because the amount of people that are in there, the germs flying around, the fact that a lot of these cons don't put carpet on the floor, so your feet are on pavement for like hours at a time, which is very unnatural. It's hard to do them, and it's crazy. I was thinking about when I started, 10 years ago. I had already been going to cons since 2005. So 2005, I'm like 19, I think maybe 18, 19 years old at the time, and I could walk all day, every day. I could drive from like Irvine, California, San Diego, which is an hour and a half almost with traffic every day with no problem. But I was like, yeah, I was fucking 18. Sorry, I dropped the F-bomb. I was 18, man. Like my knees were really good. I had all this energy. Like, it's really hard to do at 42 now. It's very, very difficult.
Oh my God. Yeah. It gets harder and harder every year.
Yeah. Sorry to everybody who's watching.
Oh, don't worry. I cursed a while ago. So.
Okay, cool. We only got 2.
There you go. Let's play the videotape, folks. Let's check out the video.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is TJ Serling, and I'm here with my writing partner and co-creator of Musa, Lion of Malí.
Ade Hiru. Hi, everyone. Giant Killer Press.
We are super excited to bring to you our very first collaborative project, Musa, Lion of Malí. It is a 120-page graphic novel, African historical fiction, fantasy, sword and sorcery epic about the one and only mythical, legendary Mansa Musa.
History's richest man, a man who traveled the continent of Africa and beyond, depending on the stories you hear, and changed the lives of millions in doing so. Not only in his time, but in the times that followed. This man built schools, he built mosques, he ruined economies by flexing on folks. And we thought, who better to tell a story about than this guy? This book is the first 100 pages of what is a planned 500-page story. So this is book 1 of 5. In this first 100 pages of the story, we're looking at Musa in his young life. He's a young noble, and Musa is really fighting these battles in a Mali that is expanding, that is growing. On the flip side of that battle, we find our antagonist, White Aminata, who's a pirate queen, who, like a few characters we meet in the story, doesn't have the highest opinion and regard for Musa and his family. And so this is the 100 pages of watching their fight unfold, of watching their ideals clash, and of watching this beautiful version of Mali and West Africa that we've had built.
And just like Musa, guys, we put our money where our mouth is. With this project, this is a 120-page graphic novel that we produced before coming to you here at Kickstarter. And all we need your guys' help with is printing this book and marketing it to the masses. This is an incredible character and an incredible graphic novel that we're very, very proud of. Here on this Kickstarter, you guys are going to be able to get not only access to the standard cover by Well Von Nomo, but a wraparound cover from Karen Grant. You're also going to be able to get t-shirts, some exclusive merch, and you're going to be able to get access to digital copies of this book and the entire collection of the Ray Media titles. That includes Shattered Visions, Joystick Angels, Okemos, and Okemos Dark History. So we want to get this book in your hands, and we feel that we can do that faster than most because this book is already completed.
And TJ's being a little modest. We have a lot more in store for you folks. We want to delve deep into some stretch goals and really push and swing for the fences. This is a great IP, a great world that we've built. We can't wait to bring it to you live and direct.
Just to quickly touch on stretch goals, guys, because Musa was about financial literacy in a way, we want to bring as our biggest stretch goal a financial literacy course that allows you to learn a lot more about money and learn a lot more about financial resources, financial health and wealth, and get into the right mindset, the Musa mindset, as we call it.
So We're happy for your support. We're happy to have you along for the ride. We're happy to bring you this dynamic, intricate telling of a hero who, honestly, we can't say time forgot him, but he definitely didn't get his flowers. So we're here to do that. We're going to bring it to you, and we're happy to have your support on this campaign.
I always like playing the video because it gives all that information in one shot.
Thank you,
folks, I'm going to stick that into the comment section so you guys can have it ready to go there. And of course, I don't want to hear, if you didn't put it in the comment section, so I'm not going to support it.
Raph is just being salty because he's forgotten to do this so many times.
I wish that was what it was. I really do. I have a guy who talks just like that, and he says it all the time.
Sorry, I apologize. Anyway, TJ, I'm holding you this deadline because my mouth is watering and I can't wait. So you better deliver. That's all I got to say, bud.
Yeah, I'm on it. No, it's crazy. I was just going to quickly say before I have to jump off in a few minutes or whatever. But the last campaign I did was about 2 years ago, and I don't do many often. I only do a handful of them because they are a ton of work. To Michael's point, and I had built the entire book. All the art was done, and then we had an issue where the colorist got sick and had to drop off the project, but the book was already halfway colored, so we had to rehire another artist, and it delayed us by another 6 months, which was really, really difficult for me. So I said, hey, I never want to do that to my fans again and my supporters. I always want to make sure that they don't wait very long. And Kickstarter is notorious for making people wait years before they get a project. I know I'm waiting on stuff that I backed for years ago. So yeah, you guys are going to get it. This thing's live and it's ready. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time and going over and chatting with me. It's super cool.
It's funny that you said that, TJ, because a couple of days ago, a book showed up, and I'm like, what the heck is this? So, TJ, I know you got to go. So tell the people where they can find you. Tell them all the good stuff.
Yeah, super easy, guys. If you want to check some of the stuff we're doing out online, it's super easy to find me at Rae Comics, RAE Comics on Instagram. Or if you want to check out the website, it's raecomics.com. And if you want to check out the Kickstarter, which is more importantly appropriate right now, since it has everything available on my website and more, you can go to musalionofmali.com or just click the link in the Kickstarter bio that Raphael just posted.
There you go, folks. And I wanted to do one more thing, because you are one of those people that we've known for a long time. So here we go.
Hey guys, this is Cat Mayor from Bitten Apple.
Oh, God.
Comic Fest. Now we are checking out every booth that's here. We're having a field day. We're here with Rae Comics.
I think you've been saved.
First of all, your drawings, everything here caught my attention. I needed to find a little bit more about this. So please do tell my viewers more about your book here.
Absolutely. Okamos is a sci-fi martial art action story about a character of color with an incredible superhuman ability. His particular ability is essential to saving the world. He's actually being pursued by 4 warriors from the future that want his power.
Folks, go check
As they get a little bit closer, we start to change, evolve into something unexpected. Don't want to ruin it for you guys, but I'd love for you to check it out. My website is raecomics.com. Some of my social media information right there.
Go check them out.
It's raecomics.com.
Now, I do want to ask you, what was your inspiration for creating? So you already said there's 4 bad guys. I'm assuming to me that comes all across
Yo, Raph, that video is audio is still going, so no one can hear what you're saying.
I've been
you guys can hear the
comics,
audio?
I'd say probably.
Yeah, dude.
Another video. There you go.
I can't hear the audio.
Now it's done.
We had this video.
No, I paused it. I didn't know the audio was going because I can't hear it over here.
Oh my God, dude. You've been talking for the past 3 minutes. Nobody heard anything you said.
All right, what I was saying was, we've known
as they said, magic wasn't real. See?
Yeah, we've known him for a while, and it's great. Go check him out. Go check out his stuff. He's an amazing guy, amazing books, amazing stuff. And if you get a chance to talk to him or run into him at a con, do so, because you'll have a great geek out conversation like we always do when I see him.
Yeah,
TJ,
guys,
we'll have to touch base, man.
My pleasure. Michael, Roman, Tony, Paul, and Francis, thanks for having me on. It's great chatting with you guys. And yeah, until next time.
Nice meeting you, TJ. Good luck with everything.
Bye-bye.
Good one, buddy.
Francis, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. The code, actually, the thing is right there in the phone, and it didn't want to go to you.
It's okay. You know, I was still watching on YouTube, so I was there from the beginning.
As a true friend.
Yeah.
So, Francis, why don't you tell the people who you are and why they should be like upset that you didn't get onto the show so early?
For everybody who is very upset, I'm sure they're crying. You know, but now that I'm here, they are much happier. So I am the creator, writer, illustrator of Suburban Fairy Tales. Yep, that's me. It's a comic strip about fairy tale characters in modern suburbia. That's my new. I got some work for the holidays.
I put it up right away because I love the way this looks, and I think I said it in the comments.
Yeah, you can go to my comic strip is syndicated with King Features, so you can go right to comicskingdom.com. You can read the comic there, and there's also a link for a shop through King Features, and all that merch. I have some T-shirts up. Well, one T-shirt up there. I got a blanket. I've got some 2026 calendars. And yes, this is my big news. I don't know if I mentioned this last time I was on, but I'm doing Sunday editions now of the comic strip.
We had a nice conversation about it. I want to see that. A nice, beautiful, big, colorful.
Well, I mean, you can watch it. You can look up on your screen. It's not as big as a nice newspaper, but
it's the same.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just like the fact that it's a longer comic because usually with your comics, these at least it's 3 panels and you're done.
Yeah, if you go to Comics Kingdom, you can pull up the one from this past Sunday. They'll let you look at I think like a week's worth of comics before you have to pay anything.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
See, folks, that's what you want to go over there. And besides our friend Francis, if you guys love comics, you know there's a bunch of comics there.
Yeah. Ooh, and there's they have a deal going on right now. I don't know if it's still I know it's going on today because it's Cyber Monday. I don't know how much longer it's going on, but it's $1 a month for the next 6 months. So for $6 for half a year, you can read my comic and everyone else's comic on there. It's under the link tree.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I pressed the wrong thing.
Yeah. I'll have to fix that because you're probably not the only person who got confused.
Let's see, where are we? Wait, which one is it?
It's that link tree link. If it opens.
Wait, it didn't open. Okay, which one is it?
Yeah, just read Suburban Fairy Tale on Comics Kingdom.
There we go, folks. Sometimes I don't work well. There it is. Beautiful Comics Kingdom. You know you want to be here. Look at that. They came up right away.
Oh, I'm not seeing that. Is everyone else seeing that?
Wait,
on Comics Kingdom?
Oh, there you go.
There
okay.
You go.
You know,
right, yeah.
StreamYard, stop doing that.
Yeah, don't do that. So yeah, if you scroll down, you'll be able to just see my my latest comics on there. That's the one from you just read now. And then you can read this. You can read the Sunday one just by scrolling down. So if everyone wants to get a little preview, there's my Sunday one below that one.
That's the recent one.
Yeah, there we go. That's the Sunday one.
Oh, Sunday.
Yes. Thanks for bearing with us, everybody.
You know, there are days where everything goes fine, and there are days like today.
Or that last time that I was on, and my computer was possessed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's when Shannon was on the show.
Yeah, and then she was playing the ghost, like the ghost recording, and then my internet went out.
You gotta love Shannon. She makes
it like a demon puppet last time, and it threw me out.
Francis, were you here when she had the puppet?
Yeah, I was here. I brought out Chucky. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tony was all like freaked out.
I know, Paul. You weren't a fan of the ghost.
Oh yeah, it scared the living.
It didn't help.
Ralph. You don't have to worry about those.
Yeah, it didn't help that it was 11:30 at night.
No, at all, man. It was a nice.
Freaking doing this stuff. It's just like, what the heck are you doing to me, Shannon? It's like, will you stop it? It's like everyone's upstairs sleeping. I can't hear anything. My dog's like and barking, and all of a sudden I hear this freaking ghost go on. It's like, what?
Oh my god! In case you guys are wondering, Shannon is amazing. Go check her out. She is a part of Paraflix. She's the hostess with the mostest. And if you want to get spooked out, you should go check her out. That's Shannon Michelle Collins, A Dream Within a Scream.
Very fitting.
Of course, dude, Francis, is great to have you on. You came on a great show because there's a lot of great conversations happening today.
Yeah. I'm always happy to be on. It's always a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I'm beginning to get a rolling roster of people that I can come in as co-hosts, which is a good thing because sometimes it's lonely at the top. Oh man! All right, so Paul, tell the people who you are. Tell them what's the good stuff because you have some stuff to tell.
Thanks, Rafael. Yeah, I'm Paul Hebert, creator and founder of Time Enforcers, which is a role-playing video game and interactive digital comic that makes learning history fun. And just not enough time to do things. I mean, we've got so much stuff in the fire right now, and I'm so excited. We had great appearances at EdTech Week and at the NJEA conference where we met up with educators, trying to follow up with all those people that I met. They're just super excited. We've developed a curriculum for kids in school using the Time Enforcers concept that we really want to engage kids in the learning of history. So we are gamifying the whole experience. It's not only playing a video game, it's actually getting back to basics and doing journaling, collaborating in teams so you can make a presentation. It's all that good stuff. I think the more kids get interested in learning what they want to learn about, they're going to want to learn more. And so our model is based on not throwing information at them, but having them go out and find out the information themselves. So if you're going to do a subject on feudal Japan, they get to choose the who, what, or where of that era that they want to investigate. So it's really meant to be a fully engaging process and getting these kids involved in learning what they want to learn about. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that's been, like I said, very well received. And I can't get enough done at this point. It's just, I'm going crazy. So that's why I have a fiscal sponsorship set up with Fractured Atlas that anyone can make a tax deductible donation to our program. It's any amount would be greatly appreciated. We're in the course of raising $1,000 with Fractured Atlas. Once we meet that goal, then we'll be able to use them as a entity to make submissions to the National Endowments for the Humanities. So it's really those organizations only handle nonprofits, and our partnership with Fractured Atlas helps us do that and brings us to the next level of getting funding. So I can hire artists, I can hire writers, I can hire programmers to do the stuff that I've been doing all by myself. And so I'm really excited about that prospect of, moving forward and really growing this company more than it is. So kind of cool stuff.
Look what I got on my iPad, Paul.
Uh-oh.
I got it.
Awesome, man. $2 well spent. That's what I got to say.
Yeah, folks, it's only $2. Go.
I have my volume all the way up.
Paul, I was talking with Raph the other day, man. I was like, I need to get with Paul.
Yep.
I need to get in touch with him because, oh boy, could I do some stuff.
Well, Michael, I am holding you to that. It's just I can't get enough time to do things. I'm working on episode 2 now, and I got bugs galore going on. If you're a Starship Trooper fan, when they're fighting the bugs. I got bugs galore going on in my game, so I'm really excited about that. I got spiders, I got mantises. It's gonna be a blast. I'm really excited about episode 2. It's based off Galaga. So if you're a big Galaga fan, you'll be flying around in Amelia Earhart's plane. We've actually customized it.
I remember when you were talking about getting that developed.
It looks awesome. I mean, I show it. My biggest critic is my sons, and they look at this and say, "Dad, that looks really cool." So I don't care who else likes it. As long as my kids like it, I'm good.
Well, if your kids like it, most other will. But yeah, man,
everyone's a critic. That's okay.
We've got to get on the same page because, look, man, I have got stuff I could do for you because history is my jam.
I love it. I mean, and like I said, this whole thing is just It just blows my mind because I speak to people like you, Michael, and like TJ. It's like, I didn't know these guys existed. I had no clue. And that's really the whole point of this game, is to really introduce kids to people that they're not really aware of in the current curriculum.
If you guys ever expand to a more young adult one, the Diadochi Wars.
Oh, well, we're all over that. I mean, the curriculum I set up is for going to 10th graders. And the way I look at the 10th grade curriculum, it's like a cornerstone project, where you
that's awesome.
Set up a program where the kids actually create their own game, and having that type of input where they can actually sink their teeth in a historical figure like that and make it really interesting for themselves. That's really going to make it phenomenal.
The Diadochi Wars are the wars of Alexander's successor generals. And it's literally just them murdering each other and sleeping around for an excess of 30 years.
Oh my God!
It's all about power struggles. It's really cool. I mean, that's what kills me about this. I mean, people look at history. It's funny who I run into in cons, and some people love it because they're history buffs already, and other people say, "Oh, I hate history." It's like, how can you hate history? I mean, you look at it and you look for inspiration. I mean, there are so many people that have come before us that really can inspire you to do great things if you understand who those people were. And
I think that the big thing, Paul, and this is somebody like I used to want to teach history. I used to want to be a high school history teacher. It was like what I wanted to do. But I came to the realization that the biggest problem with history in academia is the way that it is often taught in public schools, especially, is they turn it into the world's most boring trivia game.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show, I was talking about how there's this misconception that history is his story. And this is something that really pisses me off because you attach gender to something that doesn't have it. History comes from the word inquiries, which means to ask questions. History is the study of asking questions of our past to better understand our present and establish a better tomorrow. And that makes the study of history should be less about memorization and more about analyzing. It's critical thinking. It's about, hey, here's an event. These are the things that happened. What were the effects? How did it affect things? How do you see, because history tends to be cyclical, you have a lot of similar patterns that happen over and over and over again. So how do you look at this event and what things are going on today that remind you of this event, or that you could tie to this event or that event? And I think that that's really been the big misstep, is that we've focused so much on the memorizing a date, the describe this key term, or tell me who this person was. No, screw all that. Give them all of that stuff. Have that be something that they have present, and have them analyze how those people, those events shaped their present and shaped the world around them.
Yeah, I think I think this is the biggest problem with education. We're still stuck in our ways.
Exactly.
We learn math. The whole reason why you should know math, or at least some of it, is for you to think logically. It's supposed to teach you to think logically, but we get so stuck into you have to know algebra, you don't have to know this fraction, you have to know what this, and that. And we get so stuck in our ways. I mean, really, I don't need to know if I have a math equation or a history thing. I can look it up on my phone. I don't have to know this stuff anymore. That's the point. And we're still stuck on that. You have to memorize this, and that. No. It should be to make you think critically and logically, And
agreed.
So, one of the things.
The point of history is you're supposed to learn it so you can not repeat it, even though it repeats itself all the time.
It's because
that's kind of the point. That's the whole thing about life,
One of the interesting things about humanity is that as individuals, we are chaotic beings that are, we have free will. We do all of these things, but like as a collective, we're a herd. And so we end up falling into the same patterns. There is a Greek political Greek political philosopher who is also a historian. He's one of the chief historians of the Punic Wars in the Roman in the I want to say it's like the 1st century BC. I'm probably wrong off the top of my head. I'm sick and I'm tired, but
you're sick and tired.
Yeah, and I'm here. What about it, James? But
I feel like that was a great.
It is a great tie-in. But before I get into that, anacyclosis was his big political theory, and that it's people undergo a cycle of governments, right? Where it's like it starts off this thing, and then people get tired of this. They put in a new thing, and it just keeps going. And eventually you get a chaotic event that throws everything into shambles, and it goes back to the first step. And it just keeps going over and over again. And there's a lot of things that you can see to prove and disprove it. But as a general rule, I think that we as a people, you can look throughout history and see where collectively we make the same freaking mistakes over and over again. So that's been fun. Now,
well, I think one of the best things I had that I got out of high school, out of my AP history course, was we had to do a debate, right? We had to debate the American Revolution, and we had the side of the British.
That's a good one.
And then the other team had the side of the Americans, right? And I'm sorry, we kicked the Americans' ass, and every reason why the Americans should not have revolted. But the class decided against us because, of course.
I mean, yeah,
there's no choice, right?
Well, it's patriotism. What I think is very interesting is it's like I think that that's an excellent thing to do, but I think that one of the other big problems is that when you do something like that, it's so easy for kids to just be lazy and be like, "Well, we should have had the revolution because America's great." And it's just like, yeah, no, stop. And that's where a teacher has to come in and be like, all right, cool. So the Americans just lost the debate. Here's why. Right. And like there has to be some measure of oversight from the teacher to come in and be like, okay, no, because you didn't actually have logic. You were literally just relying on a cultural bias of your classmates.
But that's the whole point of the whole discourse, right? Getting kids to like formulate ideas, research them, and then discuss them. I mean, I think
it's a dead art
debate with one another. To be honest, without getting like on top of each other and want to cut our heads off. It's like, why can't you have a serious debate and walk away and still be friends?
This has been a very turbulent year for a lot of reasons. And I think one of the big things that has stuck out to me in the highlight in terms of seeing all these reels of people getting in these heated discussions is you will have certain people who will go and start, we'll say debates to be polite, and they will be very calm. And then the other people will be arguing all of their points completely from a place of pathos and what have you, and they're all emotional, but they're not actually putting down any logical points to refute what people say. And these are all college kids. These are kids in college, in higher education. This is where you should be honing skills of discourse and critical thought and everything like that.
Right.
Our higher education college has failed.
Well, I think before then, to be honest with you, Michael, you need to lay the groundwork like anything else. I mean,
absolutely.
Getting back to basics, just journaling. I mean, kids, I think, have lost the ability to write things down. I mean, my kids even couldn't do cursive for God's sake because they were typing everything up on a computer. It's just like
cursive stopped being a mandatory requirement in several public schools.
Yeah, but the whole point is we've moved away from all that and are focused on devices. And it's just like, that's a mistake. I mean,
I agree.
Active learning, writing things down, thinking about them, making edits as you go. This is all about conceptualizing and critical thinking. It's all important stuff.
Absolutely. And on that note, let's talk Detonator. All right. So I'm not the writer of this book. I'm not the artist of this book, but my buddy James is. And James and I met, I want to say like two years ago at this point, through a writing group with run by Rini Strachalski, who does Fiendish. And let me tell you, James is one of the best indie writers I have ever seen. I read the first issue years ago, and I was like, dude, I need to read more. Where can I get your back issues? Like, where can I get the rest of your series? And he goes, can you just wait for my next campaign? So I've been waiting for this campaign for 2 years. And because I backed what I told him I was going to back, he did me the gracious deed of, I have gotten to read issues 1 through 5 digitally before anyone else. Issue 6 is being finished, but this is for the entire story. And man, do you guys have a treat. So what is Detonator about? So how far would you guys be willing to go for your best friend is, I think, really what the core of Detonator is. Because Kaz is a guy whose best friend is the world's greatest superhero. But because he has come down with he's struggling with PTSD and depression, he can no longer function. He can no longer be a superhero. He doesn't feel like he can handle that burden anymore. And so Kaz, our main character, becomes a supervillain to give his best friend the kick in the ass he needs to get out and save the world. And that is what Detonator is. It is fantastic. It's got stellar art that's incredibly stylized. It really feels like early Invincible, back when not Otley, but his the guy that created the series with Kirkman. Kirkman's the writer, but so Ryan Otley came onto the series at around the 3rd volume. Initially, it was Robert Kirkman, and why am I blanking on this artist?
I know you're talking about it. I can't remember either. Yeah, I know you're talking about it. I can't remember.
There's Robert Kirkman. Cory Walker.
Right.
Has a very Cory Walker-esque feel to it. The colors are super bright, kind of give you a Mike Spicer vibe. And man, every single issue leaves you wanting more. It's explosive, no pun intended, but like, it's so emotionally charged. And seeing these characters' friendship kind of unfold in this way is incredibly compelling. There were moments where I was reading it so I don't talk about this much because I didn't really do much during my time in, but I was in the Army infantry for 6 years. And there is this sequence in one of the issues where Matt, the superhero character, is kind of having these like flashbacks of him trying to like talk about what he's going through to his friends and family. And they're all like, oh yeah, I completely get that. And start using that as a way to transition the conversation of him trying to actually connect with somebody about his problems. And they're just talking about their shit now because they can't, they literally can't associate with what he's dealing with. And he's just being borne down by the weight of this. And it reminded me so much of why myself and why pretty much everyone who's worn a uniform and has actually done anything doesn't talk about this shit with anyone else. it's because when you have that conversation, you have 2 or 3 different reactions. You have one, the one that I was just saying, where like they'll straight up, like, because they can't handle or process what you're telling them, they turn it into about them. Or they completely glaze over and just try and wait the story out until it ends. And as a result, there is a massive disconnect where people who've been through these high intensity things feel like they can't talk to or communicate with it. And it is one of the most real things that I've ever seen done in one of these books. And James has an amazing point of perspective on this because he's a fucking EMT in New York City. He deals with some shit, and he brings all of that into this book, and it is great.
Yeah, I love the covers, love the art. It's fantastic. We met him at Bix.
Dude, he's such a good dude.
I was like, dude, as soon as you got this thing going, come on the show. He's like, oh, soon, Ralph, soon. Then he finally goes, oh, the Kickstarter's out. And I'm like, oh, come on, let's go. Oh my God, but this is fantastic, folks. He's doing really well with his Kickstarter. Let me go back up here. He is at 6,179. So he's funded. But when it comes to funding and creating books, sometimes the money you need, it isn't exactly the money you're funding for. So give him as much money as you can.
Well, and to that point, so to showcase how much I also dig this, if my verbal praise wasn't enough, I really want this book to succeed. And so before he launched, I did this fan art piece.
Oh, nice.
Nice, yeah.
So what's his next stretch goal, Raph?
Let's see what the next stretch goal is. Let's go to videotape. We're over here.
He's got it down at the bottom of the page, I think. I know he's unlocked at least one.
I love that t-shirt.
Yeah, it's so freaking cool.
Look at that die. Oh, here we go. Stretch goals. All right, so the designated bookmark, 6,000, 10,000 is the next one.
So if he unlocks 10K, I will send this. I will tell James. I will have him do a raffle, and I will address this to whoever wins it, and they will get it.
There you have it, folks. And of course, let me put that link in the comments section so you guys can have it ready and steady to go. You guys want this book. This book is fantastic. The concepts in this book are great. You just heard Michael speak well of this book.
I do not go and gush about many people's books. I love the indie scene, and I love the passion, but it is a place where there are lots of fragile egos. And so I have found that it is wiser to keep my mouth shut 90% of the time. But this book is fantastic, and I will stand by that. And if you don't like it and you end up getting the book because of me, you can write me a nasty gram all you want. But I will stand by this.
Do that.
Exactly. You got to buy the book first to do it. And at that point, you've already helped James do what he needs to do.
Exactly.
But I am very excited. The only issue that I have not read yet is issue 6, and that is because it is being finished. But it is very close. And hopefully James gets me the first digital copy on that too, so I can go and read that. I do actually plan on having James on. I'm starting up on my YouTube channel, Comic Book AAR, which is After Action Review. I had done one review with this title, but I didn't really like how it turned out. And so I'm switching it to a live stream format where I invite the indie creator on and we do an after action report, which is what we do in the Army after a mission, which is establish what the mission is, go through how the mission went, and then give 3 sustains, 3 improves, and then I give an overall rating of combat ready. It was combat superior. Give a rating of combat superiority. It is like, are we 3-1, which is Army doctrine for you're good to go? Are we 2-1, which is okay? Or are we 1-1 or below, which is you got work to do? So I will be doing live streams of that, and if you have a little bit of room to be given some critique and aren't afraid of that being live, please let me know. I can't guarantee you I am going to gush about your book, but you'll get a fair critique out of me. And yeah.
There you have it, folks.
James will be coming on.
Exactly.
We'll be figuring out a time to do that. So,
and let's see. I got this here because I want to help them out, because this is a fantastic book. I like my teddy bears. And you know what? I'm going to let the videotape talk about this first. So here we go.
Ladies and jelly beans, my name is Kira Burton, published poet, and this is my big brother James, and we are the writers of the Ballad of Nod. Over the years, James and I have lost a lot of people, including nearly ourselves when James was battling cancer. As a result, when James was trying to process and explain these emotions to his young daughter Camille, he was inspired to write a story that would help them both. What resulted was the Ballad of Nod, a story that's a little bit Alice in Wonderland, a little bit Coraline, and all magic, where a grieving young girl learns to face her nightmares on their terms, deep in an ethereal dreamland where she has to learn to defend what she loves the most. We're here to fund our Kickstarter so we can get our book to print, but more importantly, get a beautiful story to a child who needs it. Monsters always come, but never underestimate a girl and her teddy bear.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. You know, and you know, I love my teddy bears, so you guys got to check this book.
That teddy bear has been through some stuff, man. Why?
You can see that he's been through some stuff. Man. That's the great thing about it.
He's seen things with one eye.
Oh, it's so funny because he has a tier where you can get the teddy bear. I would love to get the teddy bear, but it's like the $250 tier because he's having it personally made.
Wow.
So I think there's only like 3 or 4 of that tier, and I'm like, I want to, but at the same time,
what if they just took like a real teddy bear, just ripped the eye out, ripped it up, and then sewed it back together?
Yeah, I think the person who made it is crafting it themselves, so you know that's why it costs so much. Oh man, yeah, but you folks go check it out. Did I put it? Yeah. There he goes, right into the comment section. I put it right in. Go check it out. He needs some help right now because he is at 797. He's trying to get funded at $1,200, and he has 12 days to go. Come on, you can do this. $100 a day. Come on. he'll be overfunded at that point. This is a great book. Go check it out, folks. You know you want a copy of this. I gotta say, I've been busy back here, and you guys might have realized, looking for one of those early Francis Bonnet interviews, but I'm having trouble finding those. And I know we've interviewed you a bunch of times with the mic, so I'm like, what the hell?
You mean like at Comic-Con or on your show?
We've interviewed you at Comic-Con. I know that we met you before we became Bitten Apple TV. Because
so like 10 years ago, right?
Across from us, because we were working at the time with our friends who were creating a comic book, Bleed 2039, and you were like across, and Cameron was like, "What's this?" And we went and talked to you, and we were like, "Ooh!" And we met you like at least 2 years before we even created Bitten Apple TV.
Oh, so it was more than 10 years ago, then, right?
Yeah, about 12 years ago. 12 to 13 years ago.
That might have been the first time I did New York Comic Con, or at least one of the first times.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first time I did New York Comic Con, was it 2012, maybe? How many years ago was that?
We probably met you at 2013.
Yeah, so that was one of the first times. I was brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know what I was doing.
Here we were there was 2013. We were across from you. Yeah. It's so funny because me and her were like, "Hey, this looks interesting. What's this?" I think Cameron posted a picture of that like recently, where it was us and which was a picture of you, her, and she had bought your books.
Oh, I have to see that.
Yeah, I think I tagged you in it a couple of times. I'll see if I can find it again.
Yeah, because we were just talking about history, so you know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep looking for that, and I know we're gonna have Francis on again, and when you least expect it,
I will, and it'll be a surprise.
Because most likely what we did was we tagged you in a different way, which is what usually happens. I just got to figure out how we tagged you. You know, because I did all the combinations of your name and Suburban Fairy Tales and NYCC. What's happened before is we've misspelled the name, and that's why it doesn't pop up.
Yeah, sometimes my name gets spelled with one N instead of two. Or Francis with an ES. I've seen people do that.
Yep.
I'm used to it my whole life.
Everyone knows ES is female, IS is male. What's the problem?
You would think.
The word history. Come on, man. We're getting back to basics.
You would think people knew. Not everybody knows. Google doesn't know because if you Google me, it's Frances Bonnet, not IS.
Frances.
Yeah. But go to DuckDuckGo. They got it right.
DuckDuckGo. Oh my God, folks! You know, I've been enjoying our 10th anniversary, and it was actually made me realize how long I've known a lot of you guys. Actually, it kind of boggles the mind, especially you, Francis, because before Bitten Apple TV was a thing.
Yeah, you've known me a quarter of my life.
Oh, wow, you're right. Oh, that didn't make me feel old at all. So, folks, I want to keep looking for that because I want to showcase that as soon as I get a chance. Oh, look at that. Tony has the beautiful Apple TV fidget toy.
Yay. We got merch now. Yay.
And if you run into me, maybe I'll give you one. Who knows? Or maybe you'll be in the trailer. Something will happen. Oh, speaking of which it's a good thing, good segue right there. We will be at the Festival of Games at the Cradle of Aviation on December 13th and 14th. And Shadow Rabbit will be tabling at this event. And of course, our friends from Hit Point will be doing a special tournament there as well. So, we're going to bring you all that beautiful stuff from the Cradle of Aviation and the Festival of Games. And that's coming up soon. Like what, next 2 weeks?
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, weekend after next. Well, weekend after this one. Yeah.
And I think I'll say I think more times because I keep saying that. Oh, and that's the last convention, and then somebody else sends me something. It's a good convention. It is very Christmas related. It is the Festival of Games. So folks, go say hi to us there at the Cradle of Aviation. Easy to get to. Just go to the Cradle of Aviation. And we're trying to bring a couple people together at this event, so this should be interesting. Francis, why don't we start with you? Tell the people where they can find you and all the good stuff.
So you can find my comic at comicskingdom.com. And you can read all my comics there, including the Sunday editions. Also on Instagram at Suburban Fairy Tales. Got it right there. So you can, and I post on my Instagram as well. You're just going to get it a month later than if you go to Comics Kingdom.
Yeah, because right now you're getting like a big preview.
Yes, yeah, you're getting a big preview. So Comics Kingdom, again, $1 a month for subscription to Comics Kingdom. You can read my stuff a month ahead of time, and you get the exclusive Sunday editions.
Look, Ad, we're doing something here.
Yes.
There we go. Comics Kingdom.
Yeah. You see the little things on the top. 6 months for $1 a month. The little red, banner on the top.
That's not that much.
Yeah, it's $6 for half a year. It's it's less than a Starbucks cup of coffee.
It is less than a Starbucks cup of coffee. Damn. You don't get much for less than a Starbucks cup of coffee anymore. Oh man, Michael, where can they find you?
Oh, you're on mute.
Is he muted?
Now it's Michael's turn.
Heck yeah. Awesome. So you can find me at a whole bunch of places. You can find me on Facebook at 9 Realms Publishing. You can find me on Instagram at 9RP Comics. You can find me on X at Elysian Fields _0, where I am likely bitching about all of the stuff coming out about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which looks terrible. You will also be able to find me on YouTube at 9 Realms Publishing. And then Elysian Fields is completely done on Kickstarter, but if you want to go check us out there, we have all the books. And if you hit me up through the messages there, I have plenty of overstock. I'd be happy to send you books so long as you pay for it.
I hope so, man. Sheesh.
Yes, as expected.
Yes.
Mr. Paul, why don't you tell the people the beautiful stuff one more time?
Sure. So Time Enforcers, you can find us social media at Time Enforcers, pretty much every platform. You can get the game right now. If you don't know where to go to timeenforcers.com/get. And you can make a tax-deductible donation to our fundraising effort to improve education programs for kids in schools. And that's through Fractured Atlas. And that's at go.timeenforcers.com/FA. And any amount contributed will be greatly appreciated. And if you go for one of our rewards levels, believe me, I'm going to give you more stuff than what you're getting. So
he does. He definitely does.
Jorge Medina can attest to that. So give away T-shirts. I got so much stuff to give away. You sign up for a magnet, you're going to get more than a magnet. So look at it that way.
He's dying to give it away, folks. Come on, help him give it away.
I don't believe in capitalism as it should be. I believe in totals.
I have one of your magnets.
And I gotta say, folks, he's not kidding, because if we look on his page, we might see something that's very familiar. Hold on. Look at this. Aha! You see this?
Got over 10,000 views on that guy. It's like, wow. People like to read comics.
Who would have thought?
See, folks, Paul likes to share the wealth, and we say here in Bit and Apple TV, we rise together, and that's the best way to rise to the top.
And I appreciate the share.
You're welcome, Francis. Anytime, my friend. Your stuff is way too funny not to share.
Oh, dude, yeah, I get it. I crack up on this stuff. and of course, folks, at the same time, you can always find Francis in Archie Comics.
Yes, I didn't mention that today, but yes, I do write for Archie as well. So yeah, check me out there.
You have to see. We tell people all the stuff they need to know. That's why you guys should be watching Bit and Apple TV, because we'll tell you all the stuff you need to know. You know, and we're not talking about Marvel and DC. We're talking about indies.
To be honest, I'm a little disappointed by this broadcast, Raphael, because
I got a Nightwing shirt, dude.
I'm a little disappointed by tonight's broadcast. I only hit one Kickstarter. That was the only one. I got everyone else covered. So
yeah, because you've already hit all the other Kickstarters.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to the Detonator as much as Michael's looking forward to Detonator. So,
dude, I gotta say, I bought issue 1 and 2 from him when we were at Bix. So I've been biting at the chomp, trying to go. Come on, James, what are you taking so long? You're muted again, Michael.
You gotta get off.
Damn it! So what I will say is, issue 1 really solid. Issue 2 is good. It's the weakest issue of the series. Issue 3 made me cry.
Oh,
it's really freaking good. And then issue 4, solid. Issue 5, as good as issue 3 is, maybe even better.
You hear it here, folks. You need to go check this stuff out because it's just fantastic. We give you the books you need to buy and the books you need to read. Come on,
the books will make you cry.
Exactly.
Yeah. What you want. Emotional reaction.
The comics to make you laugh.
I'm also like, I have like 2 things as my reputation in the indie scene. I am the guy that's obsessed with classical antiquity history, and I'm the guy that makes people cry. Like, those are like the 2 things that I have to my name. I've got the Embrace, which just completely levels people's emotional states, and then I've got I've got Elysian Fields, which is all the historical stuff and what have you. So,
and folks, you know, we don't usually mention Dirk because Dirk can help himself, but we like to hang out with Dirk. So go check out Dirk's new book, The Tale of Mystery. If you guys don't know Dirk Manning, you know it's a lot of excellent stuff. He's doing really well. He's at 10,341. And if you are backing the big book, he's just gone through a bunch of stretch goals. You're going to get all that stuff even now if you back the book now, because all the stretch goals are just part of that big book.
I love stretch goals.
Yeah, Dirk Manning makes sure you get stretch goals.
I don't have a room in my house for stretch goals, but I love them.
Yeah, folks, Dirk Manning, great guy. Go check him out. And right now he is working with Source Point Press, bringing them back. And you know we love Source Point Press here as well. So, you know, go check him out. Go help, go support. And I think that's everything, folks. You know, and we did it in a minute and 40. I mean, an hour and 40.
Yeah, I apologize. I turned part of that into a historical.
No. Everything was fine. The only time that I had to stop you was because I remembered actually that he had to leave early. So I was like, I got to make sure we talk about this. Folks, you know, we love to geek out here. It's always the geek out. And on Wednesday, on the Written Writ, it's going to be more geek out because all December, we're going to be bringing you the stuff that you want to buy. You know, like Francis and Paul and Michael. Tony, is there anything you need to say?
Me? No, not really. See you at the Festival of Games and happy late Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's it.
All right, folks, join us on the Written Writ Wednesday and on Apple Bites here again Monday. On Monday, we will have the guys from Hit Points all talking about what's going to happen at the Festival of Games. And at the same time, we're going to have the guys from Art School Dropout, and we're going to be all kung fu because those guys are fantastic. With that, folks, I do what this thing does over here because on this show, this happens. Folks, if you don't learn from history, history will repeat itself.